It's been a long year since we've seen you here, everybody. We have seen a lot of excitement. There's been anticipation. We've had 6v6 turn into 5v5 and back into 6v6. But here we are, ready to kick off the EMEA Open Division for 2022. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends and family beyond the binary, my name is Warren Jungle God Hammond. joined on the mic today by none other than Dividing. How are you doing, my friend?
Let me just get a little bit out of my system right here. Odie's back, baby! Let's go! Woo! Yes! I am so hyped for this. I've been waiting for so long to get back into it, oh god, and I am ready, so ready to get started with what is going to be a 130 plus team bracket in the EMEA division. That's going to be taking place over the course of 4 weeks. It is going to be a ton of fun, and I'm really excited that we get to kick it off together.
Yeah, this is going to be absolutely fantastic. And we've got two great teams kicking it off here with us today, too. It's going to be Too Easy Able Bubble going up against Boreal Esports. We've got one team that has part of a giant organization, Too Easy, one of the biggest in EU. So many teams that they are putting through Open Division this year. But today we're going to be watching Able Bubble going up against a relative newcomer in Boreal Esports, a French organization that's been around for about 5 months now, Dividing.
Yeah, got the chance to kind of talk to both of these teams prior to the game, just so I knew a little bit more about them going into it. And it was actually very interesting, the Boreal story, which is really just the owner just said, hey, I just kind of want to make a team, and ended up somehow gathering up this incredible group of staff members and players. And once they kind of got everything together, they were like, hey, maybe we can actually do some damage with this roster. So this is kind of Boreal Esports' debut to the Overwatch scene as we know it. Like you said, they were made about 5 months ago. This is their first open division as a team, and to go up against one of the members of one of the biggest like conglomerate. I don't know if conglomerate's the right word for it, but there's a massive organization in Too Easy. They have like 12 teams entered in open division. It's actually insane.
Yeah, the amount of support that Too Easy is able to provide is just tremendous. Being able to manage that many teams, have so many in Open Division, kudos to them for putting together just some great Overwatch competitive teams. Now, both of these teams, pretty high ranked, pretty high SR. We're gonna have Able Bubble at about a 4K average. Boreal Esports, though, looking about at a 4.4, 4.5K average. So today, I think that we've got Boreal Esports coming in the favorites. It's going to be up to Able Bubble to see if they can put together what they need to do to make a showing of it and perhaps take this win from them. Regardless, both of these teams looking to stay in the upper bracket, that's for sure.
Yeah, 100%. And such a massive bracket, being able to stay into the upper side of it for as long as possible is obviously going to be super huge, especially since you take a look at the bracket that they're a part of, and whoever wins this game is most likely going to end up running smack into the merry-go, the number 3 seed in the next round of the upper bracket. So just being able to get one more game ahead, being able to ensure you get one more round before you end up facing up against what is just a massive team that has made contenders trials in the past. You mentioned the SR differential between these teams, but the seeding doesn't seem to agree as much. Boreal Leaf Sport is the
Right.
67 seed, Able Bubble is the 62 seed. So, according to Game Battles, this is actually a fairly even matchup.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good game regardless of which way it ends up going today. Now, do you have any predictions as to where you think each of these teams is going to go first? Of course, we are back to Overwatch 1. I know we've all been used to watching Overwatch League with 5v5 and, of course, the new push
Yeah.
mode in tow, but we're taking it back. We're doing retro Overwatch here for Open Division today. So, any thoughts on where you think either of these teams is going to start out?
I'm gonna be honest, I have almost no idea. The only thing that I really know about either of these teams when I ask them what kind of comms to expect from them is Able Bubble said that they don't have a good Wrecking Ball player. So we're gonna be staying away from Wrecking Ball. And to me, the actual opposite of the Wrecking Ball compositions is the Brawl compositions, what EU is known for, especially in the
Yeah.
Overwatch 1. So that's what I'm expecting out of Able Bubble. That being said, that's just because that's where my brain goes when I hear a team says we're not very good at the Wrecking Ball compositions. You can also run like a dive comp, a double bubble comp. There's a lot more options that Able Bubble can do. But both teams were very secretive when they told me I asked them about the comms that they like to run, and fair so, they didn't want me going off and spilling all their secrets to the opponent.
Yeah, exactly. It's gonna be a long 4 weeks, right? Here at Open Division. So these teams are gonna want to play their cards pretty close to their chest to make sure that they've got the best opportunity, the best chance of ending up in the upper echelons of this tournament. But our questions have been answered, at least one of them dividing. We're gonna be headed to Ilios first. So, long sight lines, a gaping maw in the middle. There's a lot to be offered here in these Greek Isles.
Yeah, I think this is a really good map for dive and double bubble. Like you mentioned, the long sight lines on maps like Ruins, even on Well and Lighthouse. You see a lot of teams running the flying DPS here. I'm really interested if we see a Pharaoh or an Echo Mercy coming out from either of these teams. There's absolutely a lot that either of them could do. Or, if you really want to, you could still just run that brawl, especially here on Well. There's a lot of like tight corridors here, especially on the way to the point. On both sides, there's this kind of cover underneath the windmill and the room over on the other side of the point. I don't actually remember what it's called.
I call it
bodega,
cage.
maybe?
I don't know if that's the actual term for it, but I call it cage.
The cage. Yeah, maybe that's so, because you end up feeling a little bit caged in by it. You can't really step on the point, which is why you see both teams wanting to run this 6-man rush comp instead with the Winston and the Diva on both sides. I believe this is actually a bit of a mirror matchup at the moment. I can't fully tell, but I think that is what we're seeing. So both teams are going to be using that Lucio speed boost to quickly rotate around the point, though Abel did use a sim TP to get there a little earlier.
We're going to see the fight breaking out heavily in cage. Hack comes in from Widowmaker, the player, not the hero exactly. Widowmaker is playing Sombra, a little bit confusing. But regardless of that, it's going to be the Fogo who ends up falling first, followed quickly by Miyuki. That's going to be no supports left for Abel Bubble, so Boreal Esports will come away with the first fight win.
Even though we saw Abo Bubble use that Symmetra Teleporter, I was surprised to see Boreal Esport were actually the team that was able to get inside that cage first and sort of take control of that health pack. Having that available to them and then having also the cover that is provided by the cage is actually really, really good. It really makes Jaeger's life a lot more difficult. It makes Widowmaker's life a lot more difficult, though you wouldn't think so considering they're 80% of the way to that EMP already. But of course, Maxwell got the better of it on that side. Already available after one fight is actually insane, and I don't know if people are prepared.
Wow. No, I don't think they are, as Sigma is able to jump on not one, but two players from Ava Bubble, sending them back to spawn in short order. This is going to be a complete and utter victory for Boreal in this second fight.
Very, very fast win for Boreal Esport, which means now you have all 5 of your other ultimates to use. Being able to win that with just the EMP is massive. Able will have their own EMP, and I think they have to be aggressive with this one.
They absolutely do, and we're going to see it hit almost immediately. Ender falls first under the barrage of damage, punctuated by Jaeger at the end with a Death Blossom to take out GG. It's going to be Sigma now using the Primal Race to see if they can disrupt everything else that Able Bubble's trying to throw at them, but now point is being contested by the Able Bubble squad. 70% on the board though for Boreal Esports. They want to try and pull this to more, which is why they popped that sound barrier from Ender as well. They're going to be able to, in fact, mitigate a lot of this damage coming in. EMP lands as well. It's only going to hit Widowmaker, though. The Fogo gets attacked right after that, but 85% on the board for Boreal.
That I felt like was Able Bubble's one real good chance. They had the man advantage, but they just let Boreal Esport hang around in the fight for a little bit too long. They couldn't confirm the fight as a result of the EMP, and because of that, Boreal Esport had several ultimates available for them to be able to take out Well in a very convincing 100-0 fashion. Boreal Esport with a fantastic start to this first of 2 series.
Yeah, they did just a wonderful job there, taking Well pretty convincingly. And before we move on into this next map, I just want to take a moment and offer a suggestion for us here, Dividing, to maybe make our lives a little bit easier. I noticed that it's Widowmaker. It's not Widowmaker. So.
It's Widowo.
Yeah. So I
That's kind of fun. That's kind of funny, kind of cute, kind of kawaii, I guess, from Too Easy Able Bubble. Once again, going to be using that Symmetra teleporter to get back quickly. Oh, but actually, Widowo Maker ends up swapping to the Soldier. A bit of a misclick instead of the Sombra, which means you're going to be a little bit later to that party. Seems we might have lost the internet Joe God here, so the dividing solo cast is gonna have to come through clutch on this one, ladies and gentlemen, as looks like Boreal Esport have once again been able to take the first control of the closest thing Lighthouse has to a cage, has an all-important mini health pack, and they're going to be able to take control of it early and push Too Easy Able Bubble back. But it's not quite enough to be able to get any kills with it yet, as the fight moves on to the point proper here. Geek is in a very solid situation here on this Reaper. Is going to have several walls to be able to run around and paint around and try and do anything about it. And you actually take out the Moira before that Coalescence comes online. That is huge for Boreal Esport, but Shiv and Jaeger want to try and do something about it. Actually, the man advantage is in favor of Able Bubble, and the quick Primal Rage here from Anti-Revenant is going to quickly move things back over to Too Easy Able Bubble. Even though Boreal Esport took the point first, it is Too Easy Able Bubble who take full control. Now, Boreal Esport going into this next fight. They actually have several ultimates of their own. They only seem to use the Diva Bomb in that fight, which means they do have that EMP from Maxwell. Seems to have it every fight. Absolutely massive from this squad. Is going to use it early. Both teams actually use the EMPs. 8 members on the field EMP'd right now. Geek is going to try and follow that up with the Death Blossom. Finds Miyuki to start off on it, but it's not quite enough here. It's still very much staggering on both sides. And now Geek's gonna find the opening. A 3K for the Reaper. There's the Diva, then the Lucio, then the Reaper. One after another. Shotguns to the face. And Boreal Esport take the point right back. Geek halfway up to yet another one of those Death Blossom after just using one in the last fight. You see how much value you're able to get out of those Reaper shotguns in these up-close engagements. And Jaeger now showing a bit on the other side, takes out Maxwell, which is huge. That is time spent not being built up towards an EMP, which seems like Maxwell has had every fight so far. Tweezers, though, is going to open things up with yet another opener onto the main tank, and Geek with a second Death Blossom in as many fights is going to open things up here for Boreal Esport. They have full control on this point right now, and Able Bubble is having a really hard time dealing with these DPS players. But Able Bubble does have a slight advantage here on that EMP charge. Widowo Maker is going to open things up with the EMP here. Unless that Diva Bomb does anything about it, actually I think caught the Diva mech of Shiv. Yes, Shiv's Diva mech is gone, and you can see that Baby Diva is kind of caught out in no man's land right now. So effectively a 5v5 at the moment, as Able Bubble is trying to get anything going on this point right now, and that is going to be yet another fantastic fight from Geek. This Reaper Winston combo has had so much aggression, and Boreal Esport has done a fantastic job of managing it. As Too Easy Able Bubble, they fall on Ilios, and Boreal Esport take the first map.
Oh wow! I tell you what, I blinked there and missed it just about,
Wow.
or at least my internet blinked out and I missed it. But happy to be back.
You know, one of Maxwell's EMPs just came in and took out your computer. Unfortunately, it seems. Okay, had plenty of them to go around. Oh, it looks like we lost Choco God again. Oh no. Joe God was mentioning there were a couple internet issues before the stream, but it seemed like it was pretty okay. Okay, looks like we got him back.
Hopefully,
hey, how's it going?
We'll keep our fingers crossed. We'll keep our fingers. Yeah, I live in Colorado, and it is May. I checked. I double checked, but we actually had a winter storm. We had a blizzard last night here, and it knocked out power for a little while. The internet's been on and off, but looks like we're good for the moment. So we'll keep our fingers crossed, everybody, and hopefully I don't have to leave you hanging like that again, dividing.
Hey, no worries. The dividing solo cast comes in strong. I'm sure Twitch chat will back me up on it.
Excellent. Glad to hear. Glad to hear.
What
Well,
What you
yeah.
missed though, I mean, the last map was the map of Maxwell EMPs, the lighthouse. Sorry, the well. But lighthouse was the map of Geek Death Blossoms.
Hmm.
Like almost built it up at the same pace of Maxwell building up EMPs, which seems crazy, right? Death Blossoms is
Yeah.
one of the slower charging ultimates in the game. But when you're playing this super up close in your face style of the 6-man rush, you just do so much damage with the Reaper shotguns, and you build up those ultimates insanely quick.
Yeah, you certainly do. And it's interesting because I feel like you typically hear about the coalescences being built up quickly, right? That's the ultimate that I think usually gets on board for this composition in particular. But it was absolutely the stories of the EMPs and the Death Blossoms during that matchup. So now it's going to be on Able Bubble to see if they can bounce back from that loss, pick a map that's going to play to their strengths, hopefully play to some of the weaknesses of Boreal Esports, and try and come back in the series, because this is first to two dividing. If they don't come away with a win here, they are headed straight into the lower bracket.
Yeah, it is huge here for Able Bubble to try and bounce back on this one. And if I'm them, I'm trying to figure out a map that maybe takes things away from that 6-man rush a little bit more, right? You had two sub maps on Ilios to play that 6-man rush mirror matchup into each other. And Boreal Esport just had an extra step on you. Even when you were using that Symmetra teleporter to get out of spawn quicker, on both occasions, it seems like Boreal Esport was able to get to the point quicker. We're able to take control of those key areas with those key health packs and key cover, and we're able to sort of box Able Bubble out of the areas that they wanted to be in. So I would want to maybe slow things down a little bit. If you can't outpace Boreal Esport, maybe play a composition that's a little more anti-dive with the Orisas, with maybe like a Zarya, Brigitte, some kind of CC. Try and use Boreal's aggression against them.
I think that's a great idea, right? Bait them into something, bait them into somewhere they don't want to be. Route 66. This is interesting. There is an opportunity to do this, right? On defense,
Yeah,
you could play some kind of a counter dive, some of it kind of an anti dive up on that high ground, right? Try and bait them in, and then just delete them when they can't back out quick enough.
yeah.
Absolutely, I think a strategy that you can employ on Route 66, especially on top of big girls.
Yeah, gotta love the Big Earl's rooftop hold.
Yes.
Super easy to just set up an Orisa shield right next to that Big Earl sign. A lot of natural cover that is even stronger by the cover of the Orisa shield. And of course, you can set up maybe a Hanzo or an Ashe up there. And there's even like those little side high grounds that those little pathways give you, that you can maybe set up maybe a Sigma and another DPS up and try and come up with like a two-pronged attack. I'm really curious, of course, to Easy Ava Bubble starting off on the defense here. What is their strategy here to try and box Boreal Esport out of this game? And it's looking like it's gonna be a double bubble, so it's not quite what I expected, but we do see some of those elements of the anti-dive, right? The Fogo going on to the Brigitte, Jaeger's gonna be going on to the Ashe to try and do some more long-range damage, and of course, Shiv and MT Revenant is going to just kind of hang out on top of Big Girls and try and provide cover to their DPS and supports.
And dare I say, are we seeing the able bubble double bubble? That's gonna be.
Oh, we couldn't go a match without seeing it.
No, of course not. Boreal Esports, they're switching things up a little bit before the doors open. They are eventually going to land on what looks like a very traditional dive composition. So they're going to have to play around the Fogo though quite a bit, and hopefully not and hopefully avoid that sleep dart from Miyuki as well. Cart's now just rounding this corner. Big Earl's coming into view now. They're going to have a little bit of an idea of what's in store for them. And what's in store for Maxwell, at least at the moment, is a trip back to spawn and a long walk back to point. But they're going to be on that Tracer, so they should be back in the mix soon. MT Revenant got to be sent packing as well. Widow Maker now on the Tracer too. Gonna be interesting to see how this duel with Maxwell plays out, but at the moment, big dive coming in from Boreal Esports onto Big Earls. That's gonna push back Able Bubble quite a bit. The Fogo getting caught out, as is Jaeger. Jaeger forced to back up under the onslaught from those shotgun cannons of D.Va. Miyuki close to this nano boost. This is exactly what they were waiting for. Look for it to be committed. Never mind. Look for it to be committed next fight is what I was planning on saying there, dividing, as that nano not going to be used and the point will be capped.
Yeah, losing Anti-Revenant at the start of that fight was brutal for Able Bubble. Without that Winston, you really didn't have a consistent way to contest the point. Winston's very good at being able to drop down to the point, contest it for a bit, and then jump back onto the top of Big Girls. And without that, Boreal Esport were able to just inch that cart past that high ground position, even though Too Easy Able Bubble were able to put a bunch of damage in. They just could not do anything about the objective. And by the time they got their Winston back, it was just too late. Now look at all this space that Boreal Esport are able to take as a result.
Yeah, and in the meantime, Miyuki committed the nano as well. It's not going to find too much value as the kills and the picks still coming in hand over fist for Boreal Esports. Weps is going to pop the Valkyrie, trying to stay alive, trying to stay away from Anti-Revenant. They are going to be able to pick them out, but it's going to be too little too late as the rest of their squad has been destroyed.
Yeah, Too Easy Able Bubble really need to take some time here to just regroup and get 6 back on the point. Nice anti-nade from Ender there. I think got 3 and very nearly got that on the nano boost. And gonna have it now just in time to save Sigma here. That's actually clutch from Ender. Now Sigma can engage back on that high ground.
We're gonna see self-destruct thrown in by Boreal. The picks coming in very heavily in favor, though, of Too Easy Able Bubble. They get a triple kill in quick succession. That's gonna give them control over the cart.
Yeah, huge heads-up play there from Shiv. Understood that Sigma had that nano boost available, and if they were allowed to get back onto the high ground, there was going to be a whole heap of trouble. So it's going to use that grab, lock that monkey down to the ground, and focus them down. Gives Too Easy Able Bubble some control for the first time, really, on this defense at all.
We're going to be duplicating Winston to start things out. GG says they're going to be able to get that Primal Rage into the backline, start pummeling away at Jaeger. They're going to be taken out of commission. Now, Pulse Bomb landing as well, going to help clear things out of the way from Boreal Esports, but they're going to have to get the rest of this done without Maxwell. G-Geek has found more success on that high ground as well, now that they're back into their natural echo state. And this card is just going to keep on plowing through the streets of Route 66.
Yeah, and if I'm Able Bubble, you're not really going to try and go for a recontest here. You don't have the players, you don't have the firepower. Just set up and try and get a solid pickup here on point C. And that is what they're going to do. Fogo is going to back off, and I think that's a smart decision here, Jungle God. Able Bubble do have several ultimates available to them. The Deadeye, the Pulse Bomb, the Rally coming up very soon as well to help them sustain through a potential Valkyrie coming up from Weps. And of course, as long as they can shield themselves off from the D.Va Bomb, they should be in a pretty solid spot.
They should be. I think the only thing they really are going to have to work out for is G-Geek on that Echo. They're getting pretty close to the duplicate, and that's going to be charged up quickly by this Valkyrie as well. In the meantime, Chiv has been taken out by Sigma. So, no bubble there for their monkey. Nice self-destruct. Gonna land in the backline. Taking out 2 members of Able Bubble. That's another fight win for Boreal Esports. And look, they pushed up all the way to spawn.
This is now really bad for Able Bubble. Have to use the Rally just to be able to push out of spawn here. And someone needs to do something about Geek on this Echo. This flying character should not have this much value on point C of Route 66 where the ceiling is closed in. You don't have as much room to maneuver, but Jaeger on this Cassidy just isn't having much luck being able to take this Echo down, and because of that, he continues to do massive damage, especially with the nano boost.
They're already back to another duplicate here, dividing. They've got their sights set on the back line now. They send a lot of damage into the shield of the Fogo, but their true target is Miyuki. They're going to be taken out very quickly after that transition into the Winston. Now they're putting pressure again on the Fogo, not allowing them to heal their team, keeping them primaled into spawn. Just a few members left that they have to take care of here as that duplicate evaporates now and they send themselves back to their Echo form. 3 picks come in very quickly for them. 2 minutes on the clock dividing. They're showing no signs of slowing down as the last few meters evaporate.
Yeah, and a 2-minute time bank on Route 66 attack is a more than solid attack here from Boreal Esports. And most importantly, it forces Able Bubble to have to complete the map in order to keep themselves in this match, in this series, Joke of God, of course. This is a 1st to 2. So, Able Bubble, all of a sudden, I mean, we've blinked. This match has been going on for like 20 minutes, and all of a sudden, Able Bubble are on the verge of being sent down to the loser's bracket here. And they need to be able to show that they can kind of take the initiative over Boreal Esport and aggress over them and be able to open up engages on them, because it really felt like they had a lot of trouble doing that on Ilios.
I think that's a good point. You bring up the fact that they... I think another thing that you're bringing up there is the tempo, right? That Boreal Esports, they've been able to keep the tempo under their control. They're the ones calling the shots. They're the ones calling the engagements. And Able Bubble either just hasn't been able to react appropriately to that, or they haven't been able to usurp them and take that timing from Boreal Esports. And so it's just been their game from start to finish.
It has been their game. They like we've said, they have been setting the tempo for the entirety of the game so far. And Able Bubble, if they want any shot, they've got to do something about it here. Now, of course, I'm keeping an eye on Maxwell versus Jaeger here. I thought they opted for the Widow 1v1, but Jaeger's actually going to swap back over onto the Ashe, going to opt more for the team damage instead of just trying to take that 1v1 against the opposing Widow. But that means Maxwell is going to have even easier of a time just being able to poke down onto this onto the slow ground cart, where most of Able Bubble are stationed.
Ooh, and Maxwell does find the head of Jaeger. Shortly after that, anti-relevant, Shiv is well gonna be taken down under the furious onslaught of Maxwell. What a trio of kills right there to open things up.
3 shots, 3 kills, and Jaeger's gonna swap over onto that Widowmaker, perhaps as they should beforehand. They thought about it, decided not to, and instantly got punished, and that is a huge morale dumper there for Able Bubble. Having to just... I mean, the cart has moved, what, 5 meters so far? You finally take out Diana, but my goodness, Maxwell is able to do just whatever they want right now.
Yeah, Maxwell is. They have just got free reign. I mean, they are shooting into spawn right now as well. Able to take Widowmaker out of the fight, too. It is tough to hit a Tracer, but Maxwell says, no problem, I got this.
He's just standing there menacingly on top of the train. You have to try and get through the Diva to even get to Maxwell right now. You take down Ender, but Weps is there with the res, and this Nano is really aggressive here from Anti-Revenant. It is going to be followed up by the Primal, so you're going to be able to get back. Look at that slide there of that Diva ball from Queezers. What creative mechanical play there from the Diva player.
Yeah, that was really, really interesting. I love seeing things like that. I mean, how long have we been playing this game now, right? Like 5-6 years, and still get to see new and interesting things happening in it. I absolutely love it. But you know who's not loving it right now is Miyuki. They have been picked off several times by Maxwell. Jaeger falls to them as well. This is just incredible. Coming out from Maxwell.
Maxwell's just playing Kovacs right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just hanging around, targets pop up in front of you, kill them. Maxwell gets Jaeger again, and then Queezers is gonna follow it up with a pulse-up kill. Gets another 3K. Maxwell is absolutely unhinged right now on Route 66. No one in Able Bubble can touch this Widowmaker, oh god.
The baby Diva! Gets the baby Diva, too, on the D-back. And, Jaeger was sitting there behind a monkey bubble, but wasn't able to get anything out of it either. They had them in their sightlines, but no dice. Maxwell is just proving unstoppable right now. And what is going on? What is this little party that's happening here?
Ender absolutely has no way to get back up there.
No, Ender doesn't.
The Diva did, the Widowmaker did, the Ana's just stranded here. Ender's just gonna hang out.
Yeah, I think Ender is. I'm surprised they're not resetting themselves at the moment. This is just a tremendous showing from Boreal Esports. The Fogo forced to use the Transcendence to try and get out of spawn. This is devastating for Able Bubble.
I mean, yeah, Boreal are playing a 5v6 and they're winning. Maxwell is getting another 3K. How many final blows does this dude have? Another sliding Diva Bomb gets another one from Queasers. It's the same trick and it just worked a second time.
Oh my gosh, Sigma with the environmental kill on Anti-Revenant as well. Overtime has been committed, and dividing our time together today was short, but it has been a pleasure, my good man. Congratulations to Boreal Esports on a dominant victory today over 2EZ Able Bubble to start off 2022's EMEA Open Division.
I mean, there's no other way to say it. Boreal Esports fought down a member for the last minute of this map, and they won. And there's no... I mean, everyone on this team played fantastic, but my goodness, this Widowmaker player was on the kill feed constantly. That, like, every second I just see a Maxwell has headshot one. Maxwell has headshot another one. It's just constant. And when you don't... And that's just what happens in Overwatch sometimes. When you have a Widowmaker player on one team that is just on fire, and your own Widowmaker player is unfortunately just not able to stand up to it, that Widowmaker is just going to take over the game. I'm sure we've all had ranked games like that, and that was the nightmare scenario for Able Bubble.
You know, I think if the Overwatch devs had been watching that game, they would have said, no, wait, we need a third tank, because Maxwell just made... I think everybody look just useless. I think there was nothing they could do against this guy today. So big congratulations. Kudos to Boreal Esports. They're going to be moving on in the upper bracket to face their next competitor. And do you have that name once again, Divided? Because that is definitely going to be one to watch next week.
Yeah, it will most likely. I mean, I'm not sure if the game has actually been finished yet. Let me look it up. It actually has been finished. So yeah, it is actually the number 3 seed, Mary Go, who are going to be going up against Boreal Esport in the winners round 3 matchup. So that is going to be a huge test here for this young squad. That being said, when I asked the leaders of Boreal Esport what they wanted to get out of the streamed matchup against Able Bubble, they were very simple in their answers. They said, this game will allow us to show who we are, and I think Boreal Esports did just that today.
Yeah, they absolutely did. Who we are right now, what I'm seeing is you are a Sombra that can get EMPs at a breakneck pace, a Reaper who can build blossoms at a breakneck pace, and a Widowmaker who can break necks with their shots anywhere you put them. So the DPS line of Boreal Esports, that is something to watch out for.
It is going to be fearsome, and I'm really excited to see what this young squad has for us as we move deeper into the bracket, deeper into Open Division. And hey, for Able Bubble, hey, sometimes it happens. The Widowmaker just ruins your day. It's gonna be fine. You move down to the lower bracket, you're going to have plenty more chances to make a solid losers bracket run and continue growing it together as a team, as 2EZ's community is very much focused on.
Absolutely. Well, Dividing, that's going to do it for us here today. Just had one match in store for you this time around. Before we throw it to a close, any final words from you?
Hey, super fun game today. I had a fantastic time, and keep an eye on those notifications. Follow, subscribe, do whatever you want to do to Reflash Prod, because we are going to be covering North American Open Division later on tonight. It is going to be with some new casters, some new teams, and if this game is any indication, it's going to be a ton of fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in today. Follow myself, Jungle God, at Jungle God on Twitter. You can find Dividing at Dividing by Zero. Thank you so much to our production, Joey, fantastic person to work with. Everybody at Reflash Productions as well. GG's, and see you next time.